Hello everybody, this is Norris again and I'm back with my God of War 3 Chaos Mode walkthrough. This is part 6, the Path of Eos. And it's not just going to be the Path of Eos, it's also going to be when you first fly up the chain of balance, and then when you go down into the caverns where you've got to protect one of the labyrinth boxes from getting its chain smashed in by minotaurs. And so this is a pretty easy section. It's just meant to tutorialise you on using the Head of Helios to look in dark places, and I wish there was more areas like this where it was dark and you had to avoid obstacles. It's too bad it's just tragically underused. As you saw before with the Head of Helios, you can charge it up and just clear out tons of pots and pans and stuff. If you get caught by surprise with these enemies, just push triangle and then you can give them a quick flash. Just with the head, not with that kind of head. But it's a really great tool just for clearing out tons of little debris. And this section here, run to the middle of it, charge up the Head of Helios, and you'll catch these harpies off guard. Not only will you knock them down to the ground, but because they're on tiny little platforms, a lot of them will just fall to their death. And so the camera turns there, and there's no threat left, or at least there's not a big enough threat left. They will still spawn in, but not that many of them. Most of them are already dead. Mop them up with the bow if you have to, and then you just use the head to reveal the secret passage here. If you saw before, there was a red glow, meaning there's a couple of chests down right below where you are now. And I gotta say, I'm feeling a little bit giddy doing this commentary more than all the others so far, just because there's so much more to talk about. I've played this game so much, there's a lot of tech to talk about, a lot of shop to go over. So just hold out the head and walk off the edge, and you'll be able to grab yourself a phoenix feather and some red orbs for your trouble. By the way, I'm getting pretty close to getting 10,000 orbs, so I'm pretty sure soon I'll be able to get a level 3 upgrade for the Blade of Exile. So you'll be encountering some enemies on the rope. Pay attention to when it bobs up and down so you know that they're there. Grab them before they can get to you. The guys behind you will never be able to reach you in time. There aren't as many enemies to fight on this rope as there was on the chain back in Hades, but still be careful, because it's a little tough to see. There's just some health if you need it. And we're going to be almost to the end section of the Path of Eos where I have a little bit more to talk about. Because this here, you've got to be careful not to fall in. So just charge up the Head of Helios and you can just glide on over. Although when you get over, immediately pull it out and flash, because there'll be an enemy ready to intercept you. So in this section here, you're going to be introduced to the Wraith enemy. And I'm going to be honest, I'm a little bit disappointed with it. Not only because I don't really like the design as much, but because he's also a lot easier to deal with. I mean, that's technically a good thing, because it's mostly the other enemies he gets put with that make him an annoying enemy. Because in God of War 1 and 2, these things were menaces. They took so much punishment, and they were really annoying to deal with. By the way, what you're seeing here, this footage, is not the first try. I had to edit it a little bit, not only because there was a cutscene before, but because I actually died coming down here. I get a little bit risky with my flight. Sometimes when you try to fly towards like a secret or an obstacle, you'll find that the camera switches on you immediately and you fall to your death, or Kratos just spazzes out and flies away to his doom. But yeah, some pretty sneaky chests down here, and this is where I'm going to do it. I'm going to get to level 3, and not only do I get my triple triangle attack, which is pretty useful, but one thing I don't like about getting these weapons to level 3 is that when you dodge and push triangle, which is arguably one of the greatest combo starters, is that it does this weird attack that makes you vulnerable and it doesn't do that much damage. Okay, these things here have a combination of the Wraiths moveset from God of War 1 and those weird ones from God of War 2 that love to spam this projectile here. When you see them reaching down and their blades glow yellow, you need to stop them. But the moment you get them up in the air, as long as no one else is bothering you, you can keep on pushing circle and doing this, and just keep spamming until they're dead. Always block and ready for it to come back, because it will come back. Find an opening. If you take too long to get towards them and they're in a distance, they'll throw it. By the way, if you try to grab them and they go into the ground, or you're worried they might attack you, just make sure you do the Hyperion grapple and use the Blade of Exile, because it's a lot easier to do. Because you'll actually pull them out of the ground and smack them, and when they hit the ground like that, then you'll be able to just keep on mashing circle and just keep on pulling them down and keep them bouncing for a combo. I'm just kind of styling on them here and just showing off, but yeah, pretty easy to take down. So yes, things are easy. I mean, It's a cool little gladiator helmet they got on, but I just miss the original designs. The originals were so scary to deal with. They were nasty. So just keep on using the Head of Helios to break all this debris. There's actually a hidden wall here. And then it reveals a chest. There's another chest just after this one that's really... It's stuck in a corner, and it's out of the camera, and you can't actually see it. You have to stumble across it, and then get to it. By the way, this whole section here is plenty of chests, so feel free to go crazy if you want. But if you can, just destroy that bramble pot first to distract that first wraith, and then just start unloading on these other bramble pots. Because these things will take shots at you and mess you up, or at least open you up for a combo from these things. This section here is pretty easy. See, the Hyperion grapple pulls them out of the ground. Be ready when the others are at a distance to block, so you avoid that happening to you. You can as well very easily knock these things off the ledge, so the moment they're facing the edge of a bridge, just Hyperion grapple towards them, or grab them, pick them up, and keep doing that, because Kratos will stumble forward as he slams them to the ground again, and he'll slowly move forward, and eventually he'll slam them to the ground, but they'll go over the edge instead. Or get them up in the air and use Hyperion grapple, and then you can sort of like charge and knee them in the face, or shoulder charge them, whatever it is you do, and they'll go flying off too. This is a very easy encounter, but it's tricky if you let the archers stay alive. See, just like that. Oh, there's one more. But since there's one more, it's way too easy to deal with. Now the funny thing is, before there was a magic and health chest, and there's another magic and health chest there you can see. I did not need any of it, and I still don't need any of it. So yeah, if you want to use magic for that sequence, go ahead and use it, especially because this is a hidden chest here, and it's going to... Okay, so you don't charge up your magic from that, but still. There's more than enough here to keep you going, and there's some more pots to break here, and there's a secret wall just around the outside. Careful not to use the Icarus wings around here, because if you use the Icarus rings where the vents are, then you'll go flying up and you'll miss a couple of things. I believe it's happened to me a couple times. So yeah, just a secret chest hiding behind there, get a couple hundred orbs. It's not that big of a deal, but there's another one just off to the side here, out of the camera's angle here. And then you can pretty much just jump up, use the Icarus wings, float upwards, and you're going to go on a sort of on-rail sequence with a chain of balance, where you've got to dodge incoming debris. It's a little bit intimidating at first because you're moving rather fast and you can end up running into something, but it's not nearly as tough as you think it is. You can use the evade to move around it. I figured it's not super useful a lot of the time, but it can be if you need to get out of a bind. But some of the sequences where you've got to duck in between tiny little gaps, the evade doesn't really help, because all it does is just get you out of the way and slam you to something else. Now this, you've got to be careful. Just focus on what's in front of you. So just move to the right, and then move to the left. Try to work your way around the chain. And this is another example here. Go to the left, go to the left again, go to the left again, stick to the left, and you'll pretty much be safe the whole time. And with this one, you're pretty much safe here. You just got to go around and wait for yourself to go past all these obstacles, and you go all the way around it, and the moment the camera pulls out like that, you're safe. But then you've got this Titan here. I want to assume it's Atlas, but it's not specifically named. It'd be kind of funny if it was. The design is a little bit less characteristic, but it still looks super cool. And there'll be a little bit of a quick time event here, so don't fail that. And then you'll be up in a little sequence where you've got to traverse all these wooden platforms and climb up, and debris will be falling down, and for the most part you can actually get by it pretty safely, and it doesn't do that much damage. But there is going to be a hidden chest in the form of stardust, so you need to make sure you use the Head of Helios there. I'm pretty sure you're not timed for this when it comes to stepping on those wooden platforms, but I could be wrong. So what you'll find sometimes is that they actually just brush past you like that, but sometimes, oddly enough, it does hit you. And it's a little tough to tell at times, so it's best just to go at your own pace. Even if you take a couple of hits, by the time you get out of this whole section with the chain of balance, you'll get all your health back. So what you'll find on this is that when you have to jump to the left, by the way, that little rock sticking out where it looked like it could be cover, you're not safe there. So I got hit there, but look how little damage it did. It only nicked me a little bit. See, and I was directly in that path and it completely missed, so it's hard to tell what it is. So I got hit there, did a little bit more damage, but it's still nothing. What you'll find is that when you're dodging straight to the right, you'll need to move up. So move up as much as you can, and then just keep on dodging right and you'll be safe. There's the Stardust, there's the chest. Okay, so I tell a lie. If you use your magic heaps and that chest wasn't enough down there, then you can always just get up here, get this Phoenix Feather, and you get all your magic back. So if anything, in that last section with the bridge and all the Bramble pots, just go crazy with your magic. Okay, now in this it's pretty simple, but you'll also have to deal with all this falling debris, these fireballs. So if you can, just sort of stick to the bottom, move over that beam, go in the middle, just sort of worm your way through. It's not that bad, as you can see. A little bit nerve-wracking, sure, but it's not that bad. Now with this, you've got to aim for the middle. So a path will open up in the middle, then it'll open up to the left, squeeze through it, down to the bottom, now back in the middle again. And now with these fireballs, you want to move downwards, and then you can just sort of like shift left or right whenever you have to. If you're about to get hit by a fireball and you're worried it's going to hit you, just flick the evade to the left or right, depending on where the fireball's coming, and you'll get out of its way. It's very easy. Don't stay in the middle because you're very prone to getting hit. And this is just a whole bunch of cutscenes where Kratos is flying around and getting on top of one of these boxes. So this is the labyrinth in the caverns, and these are one of the labyrinth boxes. So as soon as you get that chest and you reveal it by Stardust, just destroy the bramble there, get it moving in place, and when it finally moves against the other labyrinth box, you need to go up here to a different one, and you need to activate it by clearing away the bramble. And pretty soon you're going to have a bunch of enemies spawning in, and later on after that there'll be a couple of minotaurs that start breaking the chain. And if that chain takes too much damage in this long gauntlet you're about to come across, yeah, you're going to fall and you're going to die. So with this, what I would recommend doing is just clearing out a few of these enemies, leave at least a couple alive. Because once these minotaurs come in, the goal isn't just necessarily to kill them or spam your magic to kill them, because it's not going to work. It's not going to carry you very far because there'll be a lot of minotaurs. You're going to use them like this. You're going to use these little guys as battering rams, and you're going to send these minotaurs flying away, and it's going to be super easy, this section. So I keep 2 of them alive, no more spawning in, that's good. And so I'm just sort of running around here. So it's locked in place, these minotaurs coming out. I'm pretty sure even in this little cutscene part here, you can still move around and do things. But you want to grab the nearest little guy and just start charging towards one of the minotaurs, and the moment you throw that little guy away, the Centurion, that's the final hit that sends them flying. Boom, easy. Sure, the chain's taking quite a bit of damage, but you know, it takes a lot more than you think. So more of these guys will show up, just clear out as much as you can. Try to leave a couple of them alive. I don't think I do in my run of this, but still try anyway. Now there'll be a couple of groups of arrow guys spawning in. So you want to pull out your bow, charge it up with a fire arrow, and you'll light one entire section on fire when you do that, and they'll all die pretty easily. Now that was a stupid mistake doing the Hyperion Grapple because I almost fell off. You can fall off this. So charge it up. If you take too long to kill these guys, you'll still have to shoot them and fight them because the box will move upwards and you'll have to fight them and they'll take shots at you, but it'll be a lot easier to deal with them now rather than wait. So we've got 2 more Minotaurs. I don't know why, but I'm fairly certain that when I tried to do the section before and keep a couple of them alive, they didn't spawn. They didn't spawn until I did. And there's another example of why, as much as I want to give the Claws of Hades its flowers, I just can't, because the Blades of Exile with Argo's Ram at level 2, just, it works so damn well. And so I pretty quickly take down that Cerberus Hound. I'm going to ride it, and we're pretty much just going to spam projectiles at every Minotaur that we see. We're going to try to ignore the little guys as much as we can, because I can always pick them up and use them as battering rams to knock the Minotaurs away. As much as it's important to kill the Minotaurs, try to do both where you kill them but also keep them away from the chain, because if you hit them and distract them, they will come for you. But if you take too long and you don't get aggressive with them immediately, or one's preoccupied with you and the other isn't, it'll go for the chain, so you need to be aware of that. So I used a Hyperion Grapple right into the Minotaurs, and that was a mistake, so I took a lot of damage. I'm almost dead. One of them smacking away at the chain, you can see. So I used Argo's Ram to clear it. And because he's vulnerable, I use Hyperion Grapple. And if you try to do hold triangle, as soon as a Minotaur tries to get up, especially these ones, it won't work. Because when you try to do that, it'll just ignore it and tank it. That's why you've got to hit them a couple times and then hold down triangle to get them up in the air, if that makes any sense. Anyway, it's a pretty brief and easy chapter. I'll see you guys in the next one.